All right, guys, this clip comes from Peter Boghossian. Not sure if you ever heard of him or know anything about his content, but the video is titled Heated Exchange, Trans Women in Women's Sports. Now, before I play the video, let me explain to you what's going on here, because as you can see, I'm at 27 minutes, and I've actually watched everything up until now. So these three women here are on the strongly agree that trans women should be in women's sports side. There's two other women on the opposite side of them that disagree. They think trans women should not be allowed in women's sports. And so the topic they're in now, like I said, things have got heated, and she's saying, what is the whole purpose of this? So that's what we're going to drop in and start the video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Now let's get into it.
I'm not going to change my mind, because I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, like, let me be transphobic real quick. Like, you don't have a good goal.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Are you convinced that her definition of transphobia is, like, to say that the exclusion thing was the thing that got me?
Like, if her definition of transphobia is correct?
No, it can be anything anybody wants it to be. It can be a pastrami.
And just to give a little bit of context to what they're talking about right now. So the girl with the Seahawks crew neck sweatshirt on said that Google definitions aren't a good source to go off of when describing certain definitions like transphobia. All right, so just keep that in mind.
Pastrami sandwiches if someone wants it to be.
I feel like. Could you rephrase your question?
Yeah, so she gave three criteria.
It would be a pastrami sandwich if someone wanted it to be.
Anybody can define anything the way they want to define it.
No.
They can't define anything they
You
want
can't
to.
define it as a pastrami sandwich. That's a joke. Like, that's literally a joke. Like, I'm sorry, that's a joke.
Anybody can define anything the way they want it. There's no.
No, that's not how words work. Words have meaning.
But she tried to look it up in Google, and you told her that wasn't how to adjudicate the meanings of words.
Bam. She started laughing. That's how you know she got caught. Let me load it up. Bam. She got caught. She circled and circled and circled back around to her illogical thought, and it makes no sense now.
My point in that was that Google definitions cannot adequately describe and explain such a nuanced topic. I didn't say it can't be defined. I just said that Google definitions wasn't going to have a...
Who does give the right definition then? Which definition is
Great question.
correct? How can we...
Hold on. And I don't think there's ever the most concrete definitions when it comes to nuanced topics. However, you can't just be defining words however you want. And you know that for a fact. Colloquially, things mean things. And colloquially, we all know what that shit means.
And colloquially, I'm not going to lie, I don't know what colloquially means. I could look it up right after this, but if you know, just put it in the comments.
You cannot describe it as a pastrami sandwich. There is very clear parameters that you can work within. You may disagree on specific nuances, but the overall, like, you can't just describe anything as anything. Words have meaning for a reason.
Like man and woman.
Yeah, trans women are women. Like, I don't... See, you keep trying to get people, like, caught up. What is your point? Like, what is your point? Like, this is kind of a joke. Because you could just said...
If I speak my mind on this fully, this video will get demonetized, but who cares?
Joke. Because you could just said...
I know your point. You just want to try to catch us in a contradiction, and you have literally no reason to be doing this whatsoever.
Yeah.
You're trying to prove a gotcha. Ooh, you have no idea what you're talking about, silly liberals and your silly trans people, instead of just not being a dick.
Yeah.
So, just to give a little bit more context, right? So this girl, the black girl, she wasn't here when the video first started. You know, I'm scrolling through the intro right now. You don't see her. She kind of popped in the conversation around the 20-minute mark. And she's been rude as hell the whole time, taking jabs, throwing jabs at these two girls, throwing jabs at him. And this dude has been nothing but nice. I'll leave the original link in the description so you can watch the video for yourselves.
Yeah.
I know you guys are like, what's the point of it? My point for coming over here and participating in this is because I'm very open-minded and I like hearing other people's points of views, and I'm not very, I don't just shut people down when they have an opinion and start calling them names. I'm not here to promote transphobia at all. That does not say, are you transphobic or not? In no way am I transphobic. I'm just stating my opinion, trying to have an equally conversation of a debate where we can just say how we feel and move on with our lives. I don't think anyone should be attacking anyone.
That's a W right there. And you'll notice this girl right here, she raises her hand before anyone ever finishes talking. And that what that is, that's a clear sign of someone who's listening to react. They don't even let you, she's not even letting her get her full statement off before she raises her hand to try to interrupt.
You agree with what she said?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you want to add, or if not, that's okay too.
No, but I think people's emotions get really heightened during topics like this.
Ooh, triggered.
Yeah.
Triggered.
Just because emotions are heightened doesn't mean points shouldn't be listened to, because I see both of you. None of you are listening to our points. You're turning to each other, you're whispering, you're laughing, and I see both of you. Don't make that face, because I literally see what you're doing. I'm not an idiot. And second of all, I can probably just describe transphobia because
Do you not agree with her definition?
Oh, I completely agree. I'm just adding to it. So transphobia is systemic. There is a system set in place to put trans people down, to kill them, to put them in prison, and to completely eradicate them. And
What? Okay. Bomb dropped. Let me know in the comments below. Is there a system put in place to kill trans people and lock them up in prisons? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Matter of fact, no, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Just quite frankly, that's BS. Why would there have to be a system in place to tear these people down when they aren't even? It's not even enough of them to. It's not even enough of them to mobilize a whole system to take them down. She's speaking about trans people as if we see them as terrorists or something like that. I don't even understand the whole transphobic, homophobic. I never understood those terms, because what I know a phobia to be is a fear of something. I don't walk around scared of trans people or gay people. Nobody does.
in your agreeing or in your disagreement with trans women not being able to compete in women's sports is boosting that systemic idealism. And when I say that you're a transphobe, that's something in yourself that you do need to work on, because that
Can
is
you define
underlying.
that?
So because she says it is right and you need to work on yourself, she has now became the judge, jury, and executioner of transphobia.
Can you define that?
What, underlying?
No, that I got from what you said. I thought your explanation was excellent. A transphobe, because I got her definition. What's yours?
Transphobe is what I said. So transphobe is someone that is adding to a system to put other trans individuals down.
Like, why does the definition have to be so long? Why is it that her definition is not enough? She has to add on to her definition. Definitions aren't supposed to be 2 paragraphs long.
Whether it be conscious or unconscious, there's some sort of bias that you definitely do need to work through and actually listen to something we're saying. It doesn't matter if
It sound and also it sound the way she's describing people, the way she's describing how trans people are treated is the same way a lot of people describe the way that black people are treated. So it's almost like she's comparing trans people to black people.
if we're getting heightened in emotion because we're passionate about something. That should make you want to listen more, and it shouldn't make you want to smirk and act like, oh my goodness, you contradicted yourself, la 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 la.
That's actually wrong. I mean, if I'm debating someone and I see that they're getting emotionally triggered, they can't control themselves, they can't just sit down and talk without raising their voice, getting all angry, why would I listen to them? That gives me even more reason. That gives me even less reason to take them serious. You're behaving like a child.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So you strongly agree. You're cheating, you're off the line, but that's okay. You're strongly agree and you're strongly agree. What would it take you to move to the agree line? Let me go for, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 because I haven't. Yeah.
You asked me this already, and I told you nothing.
Okay. What would it take you to move to the agree line?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Would you say absolutely nothing or
Yeah,
nothing?
absolutely nothing.
I just said what I had to say.
Okay.
I would be willing to revise my opinion with, new information that comes out, new studies, new statistics, saying if there is actually a true advantage that trans women have over cis women in sport.
And I mean, she's been the nicest one out of all on this side of the lines. But what evidence, what data do you need? Why is it that someone like me without a degree, without hours and hours of studying, can just look at a big ass dude, see him competing with women and say, that's not fair? What data do we need on that? What more data do we need? I don't understand.
sports, but as of right now, there's nothing that is prominent, like as in what we know, that would change my position right now.
Why do you think you should be the one to facilitate this conversation when you don't even care about sports?
I know nothing about
Yeah,
sports.
so you don't care about sports. So why?
Well, that's not
Like,
entirely
do you
true.
care about trans women and trans
Well, wait a
women's
second.
rights?
Let me answer your question first. I actually happen to know a lot about one sport, but it's a very fringe sport.
But you don't care about sports. Sports.
Correct. Well, I don't care about any
So do
sports
you-
with a ball.
Do you care about trans women?
What do you mean?
Do you care about trans women and trans women issues? And
Like,
protecting-
give me any.
and-
Like,
and-
what do you mean?
And protecting trans women. What do you mean? What do I mean? Answer. It's a straightforward question. Do you?
That's actually not a
Yeah.
straightforward
Do
question.
you care about trans women? Do you care about the issues they face? Do you care about
What if I said I care about everybody? What if he said I care about everybody? Then what?
being a good ally to trans women? Do you care about trans women?
I was up with you until you used the word ally. I care about. So the answer to the first question is yes, and the answer
But
to
you're
the
not an ally
second
to
question,
trans women.
it depends what you mean.
It depends on what I mean by ally.
Yes.
What do you think ally means? As someone who's I'm not a leading top, some of you don't know what ally means, but someone in the field, what do you think ally
Okay.
means?
So let me just say, often we use words that we think we know what other people
I know
mean
what
by
the
them.
word ally means. I'm asking.
Right.
That's not even what he just said. Shut up and let him get his point off.
We use words
Listen
that
closely.
we think we know what other people
I
mean
know
by
what the
them.
word ally means. I'm asking.
Right,
Ally,
right.
because allies, an easy word to understand. Ally means.
Look at this girl. She won't even let the person on her side speak.
At your biblical age, are you
55.
biblical? Are you telling
What do you mean biblical?
it means you're older than the Bible? Do you really not know what
Huh,
ally means?
Not that old.
Do you really not know what ally means?
Yo, W for this guy's patience. He's having to exercise a lot dealing with these snarky, condescending, rude ass people. Like what was the whole point of even coming at his age? Like he hasn't disrespected anybody here on their side or the other side. But I don't know. This is just the toxic liberal brainwashing.
Depends what you mean. If you mean different people mean different things by ally.
Okay, then come back to me.
Like it doesn't mean
No,
somebody
no,
willing
I'm asking
to.
you,
Yeah.
I'm asking you, what do you think? Like, what's your definition of ally?
Okay.
What? No,
I'm
answer
more than
my
happy.
question.
Yes, I will
Answer my
answer that
question.
question. We'll go back to the claim. You have my word. I will answer that question. So
Then
I'm
why
just
can't
going to
you
wrap
say
up.
no?
You have my word. So you guys, there's nothing to get you to change your mind, and absolutely nothing. I want to make sure clear. Is there anything that would get you two to move to the slightly, either to the strongly disagree or to the slightly disagree? Like, is there any piece of evidence that you would have to hear or reason or argument?
I think I would definitely be open to changing my opinion or even just hearing other people out.
So what would it look like for you to move to, you have to play by the rules of the game, which means you have to stand on a line. Yeah. So what would it take for you to move to the slightly disagree?
See, and the one thing you notice, like I said, the black girl wasn't even there from the beginning. It's like the people on the other side of these two women here, it's like they hate these women just based off the way they think. They know nothing about them. They know how they feel about one topic, and then they think that they could generalize them and just boil them down to racist, homophobes, and bigots and transphobes, all because of how they feel about one thing. And you're supposed to be the inclusive and loving side that accepts everybody, but you can't even accept the way you can't even agree to disagree because of the way someone thinks, huh?
Evidence, reason, data, like what would that look like?
I'm not sure, but I would like to note that I think for a trans woman to compete in women's sports, she has a biological advantage. And then for a trans man to compete in men's sports, she has a biological disadvantage. So I just want to make that point that I do think that's something to consider. And I don't agree with attacking people personally, whether it's that he's old or that I'm sitting here smiling. I don't think that anything to do with this conversation has to do with how you treat other people. And if you're going to sit here and say you accept all people, then you need to sit here and accept all people.
WWW.
I did not say I accept all people. I don't accept bigots. I don't accept racists.
Old people.
Yeah, old people like you because you're an ass. I accept older people who are open-minded, like my parents, per se, who are actually older than you. And I accept people who are willing to actually...
This is why I'm homeschooling my kids. I already told my girl. Homeschool.
Open their minds up.
No college.
I'm confused. I just said I'm very open-minded. Okay.
So you're accepting of people who are willing to open their minds, but yet you are not willing to open your mind for evidence that would take you to go to the agree line.
I'm not willing to open my mind to be a bigoted piece of shit. No.
Anyone who does not have the same opinion as you is a bigoted.
A trans woman should not be able to compete in women's sports has transphobic beliefs. Point blank, period.
And I mean, just listen up. Just listen up. They telling you exactly how they feel right now. You know that dealing with these people, you cannot have a rational, intellectual, fair conversation. These are people that don't want to be proven wrong. They don't want to give any ground in the debate. They don't want to give any grounds to change their mind on anything at all. Their mind was made up the moment they came here.
Period. Trans women are women. Therefore, they compete in women's sports. Like, that's really just, like, the end of conversation. Like, there's really no, like, oh, but, like, you know, like, the boys and then the girls and the testosterone. No. Like, it's all based in transphobia. So it's not about, like, me believing in facts. It's not about me listening to the research. It's literally just called, like, I'm
Is that Hassan Abi right there?
saying this line because I refuse to be transphobic. Also, you never answered my question.
Yeah, I promised you I would at the end.
answer it.
I promise you have my word,
not
but
right
I just,
now?
because if I do this, we're going to wrap it up. I promise you the moment this is over, you have my word.
I want to talk to you about biology.
Who, them?
Yes, these two. The one that's on her phone and not actually paying attention to me because she doesn't respect me.
Just speak through it.
So, no.
Like, why do you deserve her respect anyway? You've been nothing but disrespectful the entire time you've been here. Why do you think that you deserve to be respected by anyone when you can't even show a basic level of respect to someone that disagrees with you? Fuck out of here.
Because I deserve to be respected and paid attention to. No, I will not take that blatant disrespect. Absolutely not. You want to bring up biology, right? I hope you know there's more than just XX and XY chromosome variations. There are XXXY.
Yeah, snap. These people think they're so smart, man. And I'm not getting mad or I'm not getting triggered. But just watching this live in real time, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah. It's just something about the way they come off is just disgusting to me.
There are XXY, and actually a black woman who is biologically female has XXXY chromosomes and then was banned from playing sports in the women's category. Although
Which sport?
it was track and field. Although she is a cisgender woman born with anatomically female bodily organs,
So here she goes talking about one single story that's not really proving her point at all.
was said that there was a biological advantage. So are you saying that anyone born with a different chromosomal variation, even though they are cis, are not allowed to compete in sports either?
I'm going to ask you.
Wait, no, go to the Jasmine with the next question.
Wait, what's it?
No.
Oh,
She asked
well,
us
who?
the
Where did you come from? Who are you?
You're asking the question.
Wait a second. Who are you? Where did you come from? Where did the woman who was right there stand? Where did she go?
She had to go. Go answer the question. I'm next.
Oh, we are?
That's so convenient.
It is. Well, talk to your school. Talk to your school. They're making us
I
leave.
actually don't
Talk
want
to
this
her right there.
I actually don't want this to come back. So
Okay.
I will not be speaking
All right.
about this.
I don't want this to come back. I'm triggered. I'm so offended. Why did you just stand here for 39 minutes if you don't want this to come back and you didn't want to participate? It's so stupid. It doesn't make any sense. I think what this shows is that people like this have zero ability to like self-reflect, introspect. They can't look inside themselves. They can't look in the mirror. They can see no wrong within themselves. Everything's just about oppression and being a victim and I'm a woman, so it's harder for me and blah 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 blah. It's just all narcissism.
Because like I said, this is a joke. You don't care about trans women.
Okay.
The world only revolves around them and their issues. That's it.
Well, we're being asked to wrap up. We have to wrap up. We have to wrap up.
I can just keep talking.
A little bit
I can
further
just
over.
keep talking into the open.
You can. I can't. This is your. I didn't want this to end. This is the boss.
Tape taken off, please.
This is the boss.
And
Oh man, I might need to make an unfiltered version of my content, man, because I watching stuff like this makes me want to swear so bad. But all right, you guys, that was it. I think this was an interesting conversation. It was a heated exchange. It lived up to the name. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let's keep the numbers going up. Till next time, guys. Peace.